Welcome to the rundown, y'all. What's going on, man?
JB sound dry, man. Put some energy in your voice, man.
I can't right now, man. You know what I'm saying?
Cowboys.
This your boy JB over here. This my homie brother, and over here Rag, and we have Mr.
A special rundown.
Yeah, we have Mr. Harris. No,
Mr. Reverend Doctor,
Reverend Doctor,
Elder,
Reverend Doctor.
Yeah, Reverend Doctor. I like
Reverend Doctor Reggie Harris back in for the rundown, y'all.
His children call him Sir. I'm just saying.
Y'all go ahead and share to be aware. You know what I mean? Go ahead and like this video right now.
Subscribe.
Everywhere.
We over 35K.
Yeah, just about at 36. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah.
Y'all strong.
Not followers, total views. I wish we had 35K followers. Hey,
we coming up on
get that monetization.
We coming up.
We got to rap about that. You know, I told you.
Yeah,
We got to get that monetization.
Yeah, holla at me. Yeah, man. We started this episode we did with Reggie, which will be out soon.
Right.
I believe this rundown will actually be out before we put out the episode with the doctor here.
Right.
But while we was doing that episode, I got buzzed up, hit up, tagged, and I had all these messages on Facebook, text messages. I gotta be a man about it. My Cowboys lost.
Man, hold up. So shout out to you. Shout out to my homeboy Stefan. Shout out to George Eric Palms. Yeah. Y'all are real Cowboy fans. Y'all are not delusional Cowboy fans.
I'm not delusional.
When y'all had Quincy Carter and when Romo was lacking and everything, y'all are legit. Y'all have said it's too much Jerry. From what I saw, it wasn't a bad game. Yeah. But I feel like it's going to be – I feel like San Francisco and Cincinnati, or you know what? I take that back. It's going to be San Francisco and Kansas City again in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's tough for me to say because I don't like the 49ers or the Eagles. So if I had to say, I would like Cincinnati to win it all.
But you know what though? Because if it is Cincinnati, we actually played Cincinnati in the Super Bowl in the 80s when they had Boomer Esiason, right?
Yeah.
And then, hold up, did y'all play in 2 Super Bowls?
88.
Yeah, I think they played in 2 Super Bowls.
Played in a couple of them.
Right. So, but then if it's the 49ers and the Chiefs actually gave us that L. You know what I'm saying? When, as Stephen A. would say, porn star Jimmy missed that pass to Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It could be Cincinnati or Kansas City, to be honest.
Right. Now, what I do want to say about my Cowboys, we had a decent season. Dak did what he did.
Dak had a good season.
It was okay.
That was 13-5.
It was 13-5. We had a pretty good year. Just ended on that note. But
or before the playoffs, it was 12-5 before the playoffs, so it was still a good season.
Yeah. It's just, I'm trying to get over that hump, to at least get back to the conference championship game. And when TP went out in the second quarter, starting with the half, it was,
Man, shout out to Memphis' own Tony Pollard.
TP.
You know what I'm saying?
TP. That was
Melrose High School.
That was
the Golden
rough.
Wildcats.
That was rough.
Orange Man representative.
But no excuse. So anybody, actually, Jason hit me up. Jason was like, man, I hope you say something on your pod about this because Jason Brown, my roommate.
Oh, yeah.
My homie. Yeah.
Right. So we know a lot of Jasons.
We do. We
know a lot of Jasons. Because I was like, now I'm saying something about her.
No, not now. No, not now. But yeah, so we did our thing, and I think we do got a Cincinnati Bengal fan in here, I think.
Yeah, we do. We got a Cincinnati Bengals fan.
I don't know if he's a fan, but he's from Cincinnati.
Yes.
Man, that man he don't even remember. The first 4 years of his life, he don't even remember being in Cincinnati. So I would say he probably remembers between the ages of 5 and 11. And most of his life, he's been in Memphis, but Cincinnati.
So you a Natty fan or no?
We'll take it.
You'll take it?
We'll take it.
So you're a Cleveland Cavaliers fan because they don't have
New Orleans, then I saw
I switch all three. Unapologetic. So we got Cincinnati, Tennessee, and then we got New Orleans.
Okay.
So I got 3 teams.
Okay.
You see what I got?
Yeah, I got you. I'm telling.
He got the Frisco.
That's it. The same. Every time y'all watch the podcast, y'all know what I'm
got 3 teams.
But every time I go out of town, I got to rock some Memphis to let them know.
Let them know the Memphis.
Let them know we in the building.
For sure.
We don't bluff.
So we don't bluff. So that's all I'm going to say about my boys on that. I ain't got too much other than to say. I mean, y'all going to hit me up. I'm sure we'll be back and forth on that. But Good season by boys.
No, it wasn't a bad season at all.
Hopefully be back next year with TP. Put him on, either get him a contract or put him on the franchise tag. You know what I mean? We'll see how that go. Need another wide receiver.
I feel like
need a cornerback.
I feel like a franchise tag should be guaranteed fully. Right? Because it's not the whole thing. No, they only guarantee like if it's $25 million, I think they guarantee 20. Okay. Or something like that. It's not, but the whole thing is not fully guaranteed. I feel like if you're gonna franchise somebody and they can't go nowhere else, the whole thing should be fully guaranteed.
I would agree. I think
I franchise me every year if you paying me $25-30 million. Franchise me every year, guaranteed.
The TP need to be paid.
Yeah, he nice though. And again, Memphis representative.
TP need to be paid, man. So I want to pivot to this next thing here, which is Uncle Shay versus the Grizzlies.
Hey, so before you said, man, we gotta stop. You gotta stop saying pivot, man. Shout out to the Pivot Podcast.
Well, it's a term.
I know, but that's their thing. You're an executive.
You're right. So would you want me to exec to the next thing? Or
okay, what's an executive term, Dr. Harris?
Executive decision.
Executive decision.
Segue
move?
Maybe?
Segue will work.
Segue
right? You're going to segue.
Slide into the next thing, yeah.
Okay, I just think it's, in your words, I just think it's par for the course.
To the next thing now.
Shout out to season 1 where JB said par for the course.
Uncle Shay is your guy.
He is.
He's your guy.
He is.
Like I fool with him sometimes, but I think Buddy crossed the line on this one. Though.
So I feel like, and you made a good point.
Did you see it though?
He wanted smoke with everyone,
but
except for Steven Adams. Yeah. I 100% fully agree with you there.
He didn't want that.
He didn't want nothing with that Australian. He didn't want nothing with Crocodile Dundee. That was
Aquaman, baby. Aquaman.
Like, he didn't want that. But now people are like, oh, T. Morant would have stop it.
No.
Pretzel.
Like that man used to get hit by Ray Lewis in practice. Like, stop it. Like T. Morant weighs less than me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not. Hey, shout out to T. Morant. Like when I worked out in Collierville, I told you, like I used to deliver to their house they were staying in. And I used to see mail with that. Like, so I smoked with T. Morant. You know what I'm saying? I mess with Ja. But like, let's just be real.
I posed a picture I took.
Have y'all seen Uncle Shay when he poses in the gym? Like, let's be real.
It's not a game.
That man is like 265, right? Fit. Man, I'm talking about you could wash your clothes on his stomach.
But he's 55.
What difference do? Okay, but think about this.
But I'm saying that you're. Let me ask you something. Fight,
would you have fought your dad when he was 55? No. Probably not. I would not have fought. I was not confident that I could step to Big Rag. I got in trouble at work one time. That's another story for another day. I was not confident because when my dad said, oh, he's Big Rag, I'm Mr. Rag. When my dad started calling me Big Rag, I figured at that point, my dad was like 60 then. You see what I'm saying? So it was at that point I was like, okay, I'm up there. At 55, I was over with. The quickest fight of my life. 2 hits. I blacked out. I was in the kitchen. I was in the living room. I don't know how I got to the living room. I was in another spot. Like, I don't know if they dragged me. South Memphis came out.
You saying Elder Rag smashed on you?
Yeah, and you got to think about it. T. Morant and Shay are about the same age.
They about the same age.
No, I mean, he like close to 50.
He didn't want no.
Man, look.
See, T. Morant didn't want
okay, if Shay would have hit T one time, that would like you saw them when they was hugging each other. Like Shay was 2 of T. Morant.
And how did he hug him so quick? Like, how did you get to, I'm talking bad about you, and now we hugging and caressing? It was a caress hug. It wasn't no regular, a dap up.
I think that was a TV moment. I think they was trying to have a moment black people and stuff like that.
And you got to remember what Charles Oakley did to New York Knicks security. The whole niggas, hey, did you see the little Matrix meme they made where they had Oak face on Neo body? Like, come on, man.
Now, y'all tell me what y'all think about this. Like, the whole thing with Shay is, he's a fan, correct? Mm-hmm. Is he a fan, Red?
He wouldn't have been there if he wasn't.
Okay, so if he's a fan, I'm just going off of all the stuff that happened in the past with LeBron James getting into it with other fans on the side in the front row.
He shouldn't have been able to do that. So right. You're correct.
Should he have kept into the game after halftime?
They probably should have. Had there been any other fan, that other fan would have.
Because it escalated. That was they had to separate security. Yeah. Right. The team personnel was into it and all that stuff. Just because it was Shannon Sharpe, they allowed him to stay on the sideline.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
In the game,
anybody else would have been gone.
You know what I mean? Anybody else probably would have been banned probably for the rest of that year.
Yeah, but you're not gonna ban Shannon Sharpe,
right?
Yeah.
But going back to what you were saying, like with him being 55, like right now, me versus your dad, who you taking? Because you know what? I'm taking your pops.
Come on, man.
I used to see Mr. Keith every day. Man, that man, look,
Big Keith.
Come on, man.
So he's still putting it in. He's still putting it in.
Have you seen his dad?
Big Keith, a big dude, man.
Have you seen his pops?
I ain't seen him lately.
Like, I used to think his dad was like a police or military guy.
Yeah, big dude.
Like, just the way he, like, walks in, like.
Yeah. I thought he was the strongest dude on the planet for a minute.
Y'all know DB. Y'all know DB, Derek Burford at Breath.
Derek Burford.
I think I can take
me versus DB. Who y'all taking?
I can take DB, though.
You think you can take DB?
DB, though. Oh, yeah.
I was in the gym with DB.
Yeah, man, I've been in the gym with him, too.
Hey, I don't know.
How old DB now, though?
Nah, DB like same age as my dad. He about like 65.
Yeah, DB.
He one of the fittest 60-year-olds.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, that man, DB is legit.
DB.
He is. You got to get yourself on credit, though.
I do, but I'm just saying, like, I know if we're trading punches.
The height, though.
Okay, yeah.
Too short.
I ain't trying to trade punches.
That's what I'm saying. Now, if I get the drop,
get a punch in,
I'm taking me. But like, if we're going back, like, you know how y'all seen the slap videos?
Yeah. Oh no.
If we doing that, like, you seen his arms?
I said the slap videos.
You know they got slapping as a sport now.
Yeah, like that. But that man wear like an extra large shirt that doesn't look like a medium.
Yeah, he be coming up in there with them shirts on like that.
Come on, man. And then, you know, when you walk in now, you know, they got to make sure you ain't got no strap on you or whatever. So we come, oh, what's up, Roach? Hey, man, you see me? And he started like, oh, I'm good. But that joker fit. I don't know, man. I don't know if they want it with Uncle Shay.
No, they don't want Shay.
No, they don't want it, but I got a little issue with
And he don't want it with Steven Adams.
Yeah. I got a little issue with Shay now. Just personally, I just thought he was, to me, I think you can't talk to a player. If you're going to talk back and forth with a player, you can't get in there and get personal with it.
True.
If you're going to talk trash.
What he said wasn't offensive, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not big enough. That's what the guy said, right?
Right, yeah, he said he's not big enough.
He said you're not big enough.
Who said that?
No, Shay, that's what Shay said too. Desmond Bain.
Oh, okay.
He's not big enough. He's he can't guard Bron.
Brooks.
Was it Brooks? Oh, yeah, he's like, he ain't big enough to guard Bron. He can't guard. He too little to guard Bron.
And then he said F you.
Right.
Brooks said
F you.
Right.
And then Shay was like,
what, he gonna not say nothing back?
Right. He said F you. And then Brooks was like, what's up then? And then that's when
he started walking away. Brooks started walking away.
Brooks started walking away now.
He started walking away.
I think because Brooks
he didn't walk toward him.
He was like, you're a pedestrian. He called him a pedestrian. Then that's when Shannon was like, come over here and treat me like one. Okay. So that's why I'm like,
he was out of order for that.
Yeah. So
he was out of order for that.
If going through that incident, it's like,
okay. So your brother, you have acknowledged on here that your brother was, about that life. If somebody told Rodney back in the day, we're not talking about Rodney. I don't know, maybe right now. If somebody told Rodney,
you talking about Tommy? You talking about other guy?
Okay, but Rodney too though.
Rodney too, but
right. But okay, so Tommy
was in the game.
If somebody told Tommy, nigga, fuck you, what Tommy gonna do?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about Tommy. Like maybe subdue.
You talking about Tommy Venn?
Right.
Oh yeah, Tommy Venn. Yeah.
Okay then. So like, and you've heard interviews where Fat Joe was like, even today, he's like, I'm a different dude. He's like, but if somebody tell me like, suck my dick, he's like, I might stab that dude today. I'm just saying, like, being from a certain area of life, and that's all I'm saying.
Shay got to calm that down, though.
And then I hated how they tried to bring like, oh, he didn't say nothing to Skip. Yep. Okay.
He didn't know.
True, but Skip didn't say F you. He did not say F you.
Who?
No, they said Shannon didn't say nothing to Skip.
During the interview?
When they were on the show where Skip tried to downplay Shannon's career.
No, Shannon did come back.
Right, yeah, I was gonna say, because he took his glasses. He's like, oh no, don't do that. Put your glasses back on.
What did he say though? I don't think he said nothing.
Man, he was defending his resume.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and not only that, I mean, you got to keep
he could have went harder, but
this is not a game where you're just sitting on the sideline observing. Like, this is your job. This is what you do for a living. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I'm going to say what I need to say, but within the parameters of this thing, because if you've watched, and I've watched since then, Skip has been real subdued. And then people are like, oh, he said this, but I keep watching. So after Skip said what he said, which was weeks ago, now every time Shannon say something, Skip is like, I'm going to defer to you because you know more than me. and all that. So they had a conversation. But Shannon is like, you know what? This is my job. Like, let's be real. Skip is like 175. Skip ain't finna be doing this forever. Shannon is thinking, as Reg said when we did our long term. I can prove my point, but when it's time for us to re-up, y'all may not bring me back. I'm gonna let you have it. Because at some point in the next 5 to 7 years, you're gonna be out the game.
Right.
I'm gonna be the one that's the Stephen A of this network. So I'm gonna let you have it. Cause I'm gonna be where you at in 3 to 5 years. I'm gonna let you have it. Because if I blow up, yeah, Black Twitter and everybody else going, oh yeah, Uncle Shay, and then when I'm like Colin Kaepernick trying to, try out for different shows to get a job. Cause y'all know when y'all piss off the man, y'all gonna be like Marcellus Wiley and Jason Whitlock. Y'all gonna be doing some other stuff.
I like.
Shout out to Marcellus and Jason Whitlock.
I like Marcellus, man. Yeah. Let's get into this next one here, man. This Alabama player Darius Miles convicted on capital murder,
and not knuckleheads. Used to play for the Clippers. Darius Miles.
Not that Darius Miles.
And they're not related either.
Yeah, so tell me more about that, Racker. You had an angle talking
essentially, and this is where we was going with that, because essentially what the thing is being said, and of course it's alleged, but they said that the young lady rejected him at a club, and so he and another guy opened fire on her vehicle as she was leaving, and she was struck and killed. So again, it's a legend. We don't know. We actually don't know if it was the other guy who shot and he was just with the other guy, but they were together, and which is why he's been put off the team and everything like that. But the conversation is like, and I was talking to somebody about this, that like, especially black men, we don't know how to handle rejection. Mm-hmm. And essentially that's what it came from. So Reg, I know you can speak a lot on this from just a
you trying to say he been rejected a lot?
No. From a mental health space. From a mental health space. No, I was gonna say, do you think that's something that's systemic with us or men in general, or is that unfair? Like,
no, I wouldn't say it's systemic with black men. I mean, it would be systemic with white men. I mean, I would say if we have to go and categorize who would that guy be or that person be, it would be more white men than black men. Now, I don't know this guy's profile. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Right, so I don't. Right. If I dug into his history, I could probably kind of pick apart what may have been the trigger that may have caused the alleged issue to take place. But I mean, really, if you look at this whole that generation, though, now if we can have that conversation,
right?
Like the rejection in that generation, they're more sensitive than we were. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I get that part, because now they're kind of with the whole space of likes and, being approval and stuff like that. So that may be something, but I wouldn't put it to the race. I'd put it more to the age.
I want to ask both of y'all this, because we talked about this again. Y'all are going to see this interview, so make sure y'all tune in for the Dr. Harris interview. We all grew up with our dads in our home. Mm-hmm. And I had a conversation with somebody about this. This person works in a profession where people pay them money to provide a fantasy, and they made the statement, and that's why I asked about the black men thing, because they made a statement that black men treat women a certain way, and they don't know how to handle the rejection. And what I said is that I've never done that, and the people that are in my circle that I know of have never done that. I said, but when I look at the people that are in my circle, we all grew up either, if our dad wasn't directly in the house, we had a strong male presence, whether that was big brother, uncle, granddaddy, or our mom had us around the guys in the church or with a coach or something. Like, we had that. Mm-hmm. You ain't going to be able to cry and whine. You're going to have to man up. Mm. I said, what I've noticed, and you were a teacher for 6 years. I was a teacher for 7 years. From coaching and stuff like that, working with kids and stuff like that, like, the kids that I saw that did not have that strong male presence, they were more prone to, and again, you can speak from this from a psychological standpoint. Mm-hmm. I know I'm talking about stuff I've read, but you actually got the certification.
Yeah. So it's the emotion. It's the emotional part, man. When you are not able to see the model of how to handle your emotions, you know what I'm saying? Because traditionally, and we may be a couple generations down into the woman-led household and people not having a picture of seeing how do you handle situations of rejection or whatever it may be, or then when things are not going your way, and being able to compartmentalize that emotion rather than, immediately acting on it. You know what I'm saying? So when you have, and again, not to put every woman in the same category, but they are more emotional. If you take a batch of women, batch of men, people understand that women are more emotional. Yeah. So if that's your only model and you sit day after day and you watch this woman, I don't care how strong she is, and when she sees adversity and she's responding to it in emotion, and you have nothing to offset that, if there's no man around, then, you become what you behold, So, it's probably just a product of that. So when you talk about not being able to handle and not being able to kind of retaliate, you can go to every project in the country, and it's going to be the same. And this young man may be the same situation. I haven't dug deep into it, but that's, at first glance, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Well, I know, and JB, you spoke about this because we talked about, even though you're the youngest, because you and your sister are so close, you would because she was the only girl, you experienced rejection to a degree because it's
yeah, for sure.
She's the girl.
Right.
Because you're the big brother, and then you got a little sister, and I know, because I got two little brothers, and then my baby brother, he extra light skinned, so. But would y'all say seeing that, do you think that kind of helped y'all as you went through school, playing a sport, playing on teams, and even as you went to college, talking to girls, how much rejection would you say that you faced in doing that?
Me personally, I had a lot of examples, you know what I mean? I told how my big brother, Rodney and Tommy, as far as rejection goes, I think you said it on the episode we did with you, Reggie, you say you'll be going to the library, and then you make a detour, you know what I'm saying? And stuff of that nature. But, as far as rejection goes, I don't think any dude, wanted a female to reject them, you know what I mean? But, I never had an issue with it. You know what I mean? Me personally, I never had an issue with a female rejecting me. I guess it was more if she took it to another level and got ratchet and was trying to, you know what I'm saying? Maybe trying to do some little extra in front of you, maybe in front of her girls or something like that. But me personally, I never had that issue.
Man, it may sound a little arrogant, but
I
just haven't. But the reason, like I said, I in my mind,
haven't been rejected.
I'm always going through the worst case scenario. You see what I'm saying? Right. So it's tough for me to even allow myself to fall if I'm already planning for her replacement.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If she break bad, I'm already looking, I've already got in my mind what I'm going to do.
And it's crazy because we know somebody who thinks that it was a period of time they thought he was the greatest thing since sliced bread. She swore up and down. But God. He was I'm nigga, he does not like you. But you couldn't tell her that she didn't off camera conversation. She kept going. Listen, with me, to your point, I got rejected a lot. But my thing is women on this planet outnumber men 15-1. So I'm guess what? I got 14 applications I ain't looked at. And that was the way. So I didn't mind because even in talking to somebody, it's okay, if you shoot me down, I'm seeing what works and what doesn't work. So when I talk to the next person, I kind of got an idea of certain things to say. So I don't know. And again, growing up with my dad,
you gotta know your type. Even with me, I look at the Discovery Channel with the animals and stuff like that. You see the lion or whatever type, when they hunt, they prey. They go after the prey that they know they can probably get.
Right.
Now, for me, okay, you may go, to a certain level. For me, I could probably count on one hand how many times I've probably been rejected.
I don't know. But you kind of a master hunter. We talked about this. Go to season 1 when we talked about it. But you kind of a master hunter though.
Yeah.
Because I know some of because I know some of the women that he prior to him getting married. So you meet this one, she's oh, she's a bear. Yeah. You got to catch a bear. You got to have that big bear trap, right? When you catch a deer, deer, when you step on a leaf in the woods, a deer will look up. And you know what? I got beef with deer because of my car. But you got to hunt deer differently. Foxes, rabbits, you got to hunt them. But like, so I've met some of the women that he talked to. And they're different.
You prime your prey,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it may sound bad. It may sound bad, but
I don't hunt bear.
It sounds terrible. It sounds terrible. It sounds terrible.
So where are the women? Is that
so basically? So basically, like so basically, like it's just a personality type.
No, I get
right.
It.
So like an aggressive woman, that would be a bear, right? Yeah. Then you got the women that if you kind of if you don't watch how you're stepping like a deer, you step on a leaf, they're gonna and take off, right? Yeah. You got the rabbits who will sit up there and kind of entertain you for a minute, but if you move too quick, they're gonna take off.
They go.
You know, like so again, not equating, just walk with the metaphor, ladies. We're not saying that we're just talking about the types of people.
Not at all.
Man, you know what? We can talk about that all day.
But I don't think I can lose, though. That goes back to the I don't think I can lose. So after a certain point, I would just shoot.
And a lot of we talked about this on other episodes. A lot of like my cousin is an attractive lady, and a lot of dudes be like that.
Gotta be confident.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so hey. When I saw you, I was like, hey, that nigga did good. Good job, Reggie.
Reggie, that guy. Mm-hmm. Now, these actually next three things we're going to talk about a little bit more serious. But, you know, we still make it a little lighthearted to a degree. First, we want to get into our good buddies in the CDC. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Lord.
I hadn't fainted in a minute.
Yeah. And so I'm trying to segue in how to talk about, because we
don't want to get removed.
We did get one of the videos we had taken off and got shadow banned, you know, for a minute. But I think it's pressing enough to talk about. I'm
gonna try to get Reza Islam on here. No, because you know what I've been like. He was like, depending on what it is, like he actually responds to emails and stuff. So.
You know,
we gonna see what we gonna see.
You know who we talking about? Reza Islam?
Nah, it sounds like y'all about to mess my money with these comments.
No. We just trying to mess
money. It ain't. No. Reza.
I'm talking about getting banned. I don't know what.
But strictly from the standpoint of like, if he's gonna talk about something, he brings documentation and citation. Like,
yeah.
So cool. When talking about like the stuff with the CDC to what JB just brought up, like he's gonna bring actual articles, interviews.
Good.
And even so much so to the standpoint, because I think you did with Pastor Moss, like getting the faith exemption when they were saying you're gonna lose your job, and he was able to get a letter.
But it was
faith exemption.
I had to fill out my own one. I had to do my own thing because, you know, when was it? 2021. It wasn't.
2020. Yeah, it was last year.
2021.
I mean, 2 years ago now, actually.
Yeah, and they put out something to where by this date, if you don't got the bang bang, you know whether you got a medical exemption or not. They put a thing out there. You can do a religious exemption or a medical exemption, but that's still not guaranteed.
And by the bang bang, we mean the
bang.
The bang bang. You know what I mean?
They want you to take that,
So
to keep you from getting the cookie pack.
Yeah. Now when we say ban, Reggie, we not. You know what I'm saying? That's what they did. Okay. Now. But the thing with this is the CDC is actually out admitting some of the same stuff we've probably been saying, you know, even for a while now.
When you say we, you're referring to
the PrezEx.
The presidential executive.
The PrezEx here.
Yeah.
And to our point of what we're saying here, we both have close family members that, you know, have taken the shots and everything else. So
I got quite a few close family members
too. You know,
I got quite a few of them.
And there's no shame in that. But, you know, kind of had an off-bar conversation, even, you know, off the camera. It's like, just for me, we're all believers in here. You know what I mean? So it's like, before all this stuff came out, you know what I mean, it was a premium on the blood of Jesus and faith talk and all this stuff. But then since this stuff hit, and not only that it hit, is we started listening more to man.
Right. And to what you're referring to is like, this is from a CNN thing. It says CDC identifies possible safety issue with Pfizer's updated COVID. Bang vaccine, but says that people should still get boosted. So, and this is from CNN site by Brenda Goodman from CNN. This was posted on January 13th, 2023. And so it says that the U.S. Centers for Disease Control Prevention said Friday that there is a possible safety issue with the bivalent COVID-19 vaccine made by Pfizer and BioNTech, but that is unlikely to represent a true risk. So again, and it highlighted possible safety risk. And so now they're saying it is a safety risk. And we talked about this off camera, but I think we were also noting that it's been an awful lot of people, not just regular people, but a lot of high profile athletes, young entertainers, all under the age of 40 that are having heart issues, heart attacks, seizures, strokes.
And even if you want to look at the data, you'd be like, oh, with the data has looked, if you look at actually the last year, cardiac problems, arrests, heart attacks has gone up, I believe, 60%. And even if you look at the normal trajectory of what's been the norm over the last 20, 30 years, it's easy to see, clear to see that there's an uptick of things that has been going on that nobody can explain. I have had coworkers that have had issues and they've went to the doctor and they can't tell them why they're feeling the way that they are. They can't tell them why they're having blurred vision or they have hearing loss. You know what I'm saying? And so to that point is, I just think it's very, I think it's just evil to not even put it in the conversation. Even if you don't think it has anything to do with it, everything needs to be on the table at this point.
But the common denominator is that all of these people that are going got some form of booster.
Yep.
And again, we're not saying that that's what it is.
Right.
But, however,
put it on the table.
If you're looking at it and it's like, okay, what is the common denominator? What do all of these people have in common? Because this guy's a black guy, this lady's an Asian woman, this is a Caucasian person, this is a Indian person, but the only common denominator is they all got a booster.
Right. Or just the regular thing.
Or the regular shot.
Right.
And again, we talked about what a true vaccine is. I don't say vaccine because a vaccine you don't take multiple times. Per their definition. Right. Not my definition.
Right.
Per their definition. You take a vaccine once. When you take the vaccine, your body creates the antibodies. You have a level of immunity to where you don't have to continually take that. We take a flu shot every other year because that flu shot is only good for that amount of time or whatever, and you got to re-get it again. You got people who take a flu shot every year, every other year.
Every year.
Right? Because it's not going to protect you for the rest of your life. Why do I have to take this thing 4 or 5 times and constantly get boosted and reboosted and tri-boosted and quadruple boosted if it's effective? And then within the amount of time, we're not talking about over the course of 10 years. We're talking about the next 3 months, I got to get another one. You know, like, so, and that's all we're saying. That's the only common denominator that they have.
Right. And it's, like I said, it's a pretty major thing because I think that you're actually, you know, I think we've talked about too, like in church or whatnot. We always talk about a preacher manipulating people or getting to do what, you know what I'm saying? Right. I believe that a lot of people were manipulated, and even they had churches participate in giving the bang bang. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? And believing that they're being led by something other than the flesh. You know what I mean? So,
and like I was talking about, like we're all to some degree theologians in here. I don't recall.
Not like Brother Reggie over here.
Yeah, no.
He's the, you know what I'm saying?
I ain't gonna lie though. I felt good one time because we was in a connect group and he said he conceded to me. I felt good.
Oh,
but I'm just saying, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't recall any time it was an edict in scripture where when they were passing something that the masses had to do, usually it was something that was against what God was doing. When they were killing the babies. You know what I'm saying? Like matter of fact, the only time that it was good was when we gonna put this mark over your door. If you got the mark over your door, that angel's gonna pass over you. Like, that's the only time. Every other time, whether you looking at what Herod did, right? Or back in Egypt when it's like, oh, this population is outnumbering us. We're going to sacrifice all these babies. Like, and everybody's got to do it. It wasn't with God, right?
Right.
It was something that was against. It was considered ungodly.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
So now you comparing that to the bang bang, or you just saying in theory?
I mean, at what point with anything,
Did
right?
I just say the bang bang?
Yeah, you did. You did. We proud of you. At what point does
catch it?
Let's just say for the sake of argument, at what point does whenever has the church and secular ever said we are in one accord, we agree wholeheartedly? I don't, because
that's a good question.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because like, for example, when Jesus came initially,
are you saying that everybody was in one accord with the shot
as a whole,
in general?
Not every single person, but the mass. At some point,
you could have found pockets of
you found pockets of people like with us who was like, no.
But we know personally,
he took the video off earlier, but when it was off camera, your boy up there who always be grinning, right?
Don't call a name.
Yeah. I ain't gonna say his name.
Don't call a name out. Yeah.
But different people.
Hurricane. I'm not gonna say his name.
Around the city. Churches was a part of the whole campaign, was a part of the whole thing. And so that's, I never actually thought about that. Like, has it been a time in history to where church and secular, whatever they were pushing, the government especially, and just, I want to put that out here, as far as conspiracy theorists goes, like, remember it was a time where Malcolm X and Martin Luther King being tracked down by the government and FBI was a conspiracy.
Message. Right. Oh, y'all making it up. And then we find out years later, oh, they really were tapping their phones and watching them.
Right. And so this is factual information now. But to what you were saying, Rag, I can't remember a time to where, as a whole, obviously nothing's perfect. There were pockets of people or pockets of the church, the universal church, that weren't into the whole bang bang movement, but for the most part, I saw campaigns, slogans, commercials. You know what I'm saying? That could happen. Can you think of a time, Reggie? That
I mean, it hasn't happened in my lifetime. But what do you do with polio? Like,
okay, but again, like they gave a vaccine that they took one time.
But again, we're talking about something way before our time, so we don't know what that really looked like in real time. So who knows? I mean, would I have taken it back then? I don't know. People were like, even though it was bad this time, polio was something different. Like, they were like dropping dead. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know.
But they didn't have labs to create polio back in the day either.
They still had labs. No, they still had
create polio?
Yeah. They had the opportunity to do that.
I don't know what they do now, though.
Yes, sir.
I gotta look that up. But
Absolutely. I'm not saying they created polio.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's
they
not
created the current stuff.
I mean, cause like for example, like with smallpox, right? What they did to the natives or the indigenous people is that they would put blankets and stuff with people who had smallpox.
Correct.
And then they would, although it wasn't necessarily created, it was manufactured in the sense of we can keep spreading this thing amongst people who don't have it, right? But they didn't necessarily create it. But to be in a situation where it's been speculated whether this thing was created, because it just seems fishy to me that somebody who your godmother was over Planned Parenthood, right? You talked about population control. You gotten up and done speeches and conferences about population control. And you said that in order to control the population, we need a pandemic. We need something to eliminate a lot. And you said this 2 years before it hit. And this is documented. Before the actual thing hit, you owned a patent on the vaccine? How do you own something that ain't even out yet?
It's pretty bad.
You see what I'm saying? You own the quote-unquote, I got the patent for the quote-unquote cure of something that ain't even out yet. And I said it's coming, and this is the only way we can get rid of the numbers of people that we got. And my godmother was over a thing that said we need to eliminate a certain group of the population, right? Yeah. And then who they're pushing it to. oh, you know what? We need the black community. Y'all got to do it.
Right.
You sure this not gonna mess up my money? I feel like you're getting into it.
This is the comments.
I feel like you're getting. I feel like you're getting.
The comments
getting
that
a
are
little
being
close to the
made
edge, Doc.
is strictly made by a nigga who ain't got nothing for you to take.
There you go.
Me, because I'm making these comments, but I'm just asking a question,
Right?
And I just want to give me a logical answer. And I'm not saying for you, but I'm just saying for them, right? You don't like how I missed with you in our interview, which y'all need to check out, by the way. How I said you always ask a question, like those are the type of questions I would ask because I know y'all ain't got nothing to say to me.
Yeah.
And so, and like when it comes to these parts like this, it's hard to have a conversation or to say certain things because now you'll be kind of outcasted or looked at certain way or mess up somebody's money or do something like that to where now what's like what can be the difference between this and a church when a pastor is catering to the female, you know what I'm saying, in the church because that's the basis of the church, not to get them mad but get on the men, you know what I mean? So now it's like to me it's becoming one of those things, but like I said, we can talk about this for a minute, but I don't want to harp on this long, but I did want to mention it and weave it into the whole rundown, but it's not going to be at the
right. Don't put that in the title.
It's not going to be in the title.
Yeah, don't put that in the title. That's what happened last time. And then you even had what you have? You had Bald Bull from Punch Out.
Yeah,
it's like government throwing jail. Like, man, they took our video down, man. Shout out to Punch Out, by the way. Where if you do something discriminatory, like what they did to Mike Tyson, they gonna take you off. And they took us off YouTube.
But the truth will set you free, right?
It will.
Don't they say
supposedly? But you got to know the truth first.
You got to know the truth.
You will know the truth. Yep. So the problem is we don't know the truth. Sometimes what we got next, man?
What is knowing?
Things that make you go.
Go
ahead.
Yeah. Is it Tyre? Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Tyre Nichols. Tyre Nichols, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. It was a routine traffic stop. From what I read, maybe if y'all knew information, it's a routine traffic stop. Now I heard he was trying to help somebody else.
No. You're thinking about Keenan Anderson.
Yeah.
That was in L.A.
Okay.
Yeah, Keenan Anderson was trying to help at the traffic stop. Tyre Nichols is here in Memphis.
So it was a routine traffic stop. They stopped. I don't know if it's speeding or whatever happened. And so, as far as I know, then we don't know. I guess why they started beating him, but clearly he passed. He died, and the five black cops, got arrested, and it's just unfortunate, man. I want to get y'all's opinion. I want to get Reggie's synopsis and everything first, as far as what do you think about this whole situation, and actually that is 5 black cops that beat this young man to death, man.
So I don't know how deep y'all want to go into this, but I was really grieved because I didn't realize there were black cops until yesterday, and it really, I sat for a minute and really sat on that thing, man, because it's, again, this stuff has been going on. It's nothing new. But one thing that kind of got me, and there's a book I read probably about 5 or 6 years ago by a lady named Dr. Joy DeGruy. And she wrote a book called the Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome, right? Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. She's got some stuff on YouTube, but don't just do the YouTube. Read the book. So
you said Joy DeGruy?
Joy DeGruy, DeGruy. So what she talked about in the book, you guys familiar with post-traumatic disorder, right? So she talked about in her book the multi-generational trauma that's been passed down from generation to generation from slavery, and how as you know how it's categorized how white people look at black people, right? But even worse trauma from the slave trade and from the chattel slavery that was here for 350 plus years is the way that the black people view other black people.
Right.
And so I think the biggest or the saddest part of this is when you think about how those 5 black cops viewed this other black boy. And it's one thing for them to look down on us. It's even a worse criminality for us to look down on our own people. You know what I'm saying? And again, I don't have all the details. I don't know. But I do know we don't see this with Caucasians. I do know that they get pulled over and they talk stuff just like black people do. And yet we have very few pictures of them being beaten and killed from a traffic stop. So you can't tell me.
In my experience, they talk worse.
You see what I'm saying? But what it stems from is how we look at ourselves through their eyes. Let me say that another way. You look at other black people from the eyes of white people. You see what I'm saying? So in the same manner that they look down on black people, you're looking down on them too, even though they look like you.
This
right?
is true.
And all that stems from that chattel slavery. There's never in the history of man been a level of slavery like what we just went through. They came out of slavery. There was no counselor there. There was no social worker there. And yet all these problematic issues are continue to be passed down. Right. And we keep talking about each other as though we have no value. We keep viewing each other as though we have no value because that's what we were trained to do.
Right.
You know? So it's just, it hurts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that could have been me. That could have been you. And even worse than that, it's not just the boy that died and his parents. It's everybody's connected to those cops.
Yeah.
You know?
And that kind of goes back to when you mentioned the traffic stop. I mean, the flagging down, which was the Keenan Anderson thing by the LAPD. He's trying to get assistance for a traffic accident. And he was tased to death. And this wasn't, black cops, but this was, white cops. But it's still to what Reg was speaking about. Like, I kind of feel like sometimes you can go through something traumatic. But like when you come out of it, it's like, how do you cope with that thing? And so like when slavery ended, it wasn't like we got like the 40 acres supposedly we were supposed to get. Like they tricked them out of that land. So you couldn't even earn by yourself. You had to share crop, right? So you're still essentially working for them.
Another form
if
of
you don't have a job, you can go to jail. And these were the black codes, right? So how you going to get a job? And the only people who got to give you jobs are these former slave owners. So guess what? You're going to jail. If you're out of town and you can't prove you're supposed to be there, you're going to jail.
Right? New Jim Crow.
Right, exactly.
Michelle Alexander. Look that up too. Michelle Alexander, New Jim Crow.
Yeah, if you're with somebody who's of another ethnicity and you're out of town, you're going to jail. If you're out past 6:00, you're going to jail. Like look up. In every state, look up some of the laws, and you probably know this in Tennessee. To this day, they never ratified it. If you spit on the curb, you can go to jail for that. But that was essentially stuff that was put basically because it's either the 13th, the 14th, or 15th. But, and I think it's the 13th, but slavery is still legal if you're incarcerated. So everything that was made was to incarcerate us because they could still use us as slaves. Yep. And so even the police was created, they were created as slave catchers. And that's never really left. They haven't. And that's why when people go through the training to be a police officer, we're looked at like when they do those things where it's like a robber who you shooting at is us.
I gotta, like, to your point, what you were talking about, Reg, as far as with Joy DeGruy. Because when you look at it anywhere in the hood, in corporate world or whatever, this is just what I say. Y'all can tell me if y'all see it. Just, we have way more energy for our own kind than we would to anybody else. Because if it's a white dude or something, it's like, hey, I don't want those problems. I need to stay professional. You know what I'm saying? Whoop-de-woo, whatever. But if it's one of us, it's like, nah, like, I got to give it to you. I got to do whatever. So I do think that's coming from the old slave mentality. But the question is, because I've been hearing this for years, but my question is there an antidote? There, because it's deep. It's like, it's not just saying it. It's very so deep to where it's like, what can we do?
So the first antidote is awareness. You know what I'm saying? Because see, it's like walking around with a disease and you don't know you're sick. You know what I'm saying? And you're passing that same disease on to your children and to your children's children, and you've never dealt with your internal issue. You know what I'm saying? It's just like when you talk about your child, like, and I'm not talking about your child in particular, but just go to any low income neighborhood, really, even, you know, and they're talking about their children, and it's never a positive light. What is it coming from? Back in slavery days, just think about it. When the master came up and they used to do this thing, like where they used to, if you ever see somebody like an old white man, and if they pat you twice, don't forget this part. That was like, good boy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So
right, you got that stamp of approval.
It's that soft two pats. Mm-hmm. And so just imagine a scenario where you have somebody, the slave owner, who is patting the 16-year-old boy, and is, man, you're doing a good job. The mother immediately, as a defense mechanism, talks about him, and no, master, he's shiftless, he's not doing a good job. Why? Because if he's a good earner, right, then the master's going to sell him. Okay, he's going to be separated. So that defense mechanism moves down generation after generation, and you talk about you're not going to be anything just like your dad, or you're not. You know what I'm saying? So even though you have isolated incidents of people that are encouraging children, but for the most part, we're tearing each other down. You know what I'm saying? And that all comes from slavery, because the other races are not doing that. They're not. So it's heavy, man. So it's got very heavy. It's got to be reconciliation, but in order for there to be reconciliation, there has to be an awareness. It's okay to talk about the Holocaust, but we can't talk about slavery.
See, and that's the thing. I think we aware, but it's just a matter of, it's just like to what you were saying. I think on this episode was like, but like, look, this is what I want to do. Like I know all the side effects. I know everything that's may happen. I know I may go to jail. I may lose my life, but I don't care. I know I'm aware of what can happen, but see, and that's the part where you can't. I think that's where the spiritual part comes in, because it's like, I think we are aware. I think when what's his name, the Migos dude that passed, Takeoff. Like I think you know what can happen when you in a dice game at 2 a.m. and out like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it can happen, but I don't care. I love
shooting dice. Ask me when the last time I've been to a dice game.
But I'm talking about the violence. I'm talking about the violence from one black person to another. That's what I'm specifically talking about. And if you don't know why you view this person a certain way, then that's got to be dealt with. Just think about this. I did a study in New Orleans, and this is a long time ago, 99, 2000, on skin color. You talk about the light skin part, right?
Right.
And so why is it that when I see the green eyes, light skin, long hair, why is she more attractive than the dark skinned sister that got to go over the top, show everything she got in order to be pretty? But
I love dark skinned women.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Me too. Right. And so why is that? If you can't understand why that is, and just turn the TV on. Why is it that every time not every time, but most time you see a black person in there, they got to be light skinned? That's what I'm saying. That's a systematic thing. Right. Yeah.
And then usually the darker person is the evil one.
That's the evil one, yeah.
Right. Like, case in point, you talked about this on the episode y'all need to check, by the way. Yeah. Carlton on the new Bel Air, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you notice that Carlton is a lot darker than the original Alfonso Ribeiro character? Like, Carlton is like dark.
Yeah.
But they made him to be like the villain.
Yeah.
And Will is like noticeably lighter. He's the good one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Stuff is
you don't even think about stuff like that.
It's deep, bro. And I just hate, like, I just saw, like you said, maybe yesterday, that it was 5, black men that did, Buddy like that. It's like, to me, I think when the story comes out, and when this comes out, the video and stuff probably be out.
They're gonna release the body cam
footage. You thinking like 5. To me, it's got to be more to the story. Something else went down. I don't think
one person. Why didn't one person say? You know what I'm saying? Like, out of all those people, could nobody see themselves? Right? Could nobody see their brother right there and say, "Nah, bro, we good. We eat." I don't care how much cash he was talking, even if he got some good licks in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everybody know when to say when, but you know when to say when you put value on that person. Right. But if that person don't have no value, you see what I'm saying? Just think about it, and I hate to keep going back to slavery. Well, I'll take that back. I'm okay with going back to slavery. But the reason they were able to do what they did is because, just think about it, these are humans finding other humans and saying, you know what, y'all are not real people. That's the only way they were able to continually do what they were doing, because they had to change their viewpoint, and these are not real people. And because you're not a real person, I can do what I want to you. And so, you know, that's what I'm saying. That's a part of, that's how they began to view you. And then they allowed those other people, just think about it. They were viewing themselves. Listen, all these people wouldn't have been taken out of Africa if the white people would have been doing it. They got other black people to do it. What happened over here? You can't have 2 white people run a whole plantation with 500-600 slaves. What? You had to get the other black people to convince them that they were trash. You see what I'm saying? So that's what got passed down.
Yeah. What do y'all think? How you think this is going to affect the city? It's both of y'all.
It's not going to look good, man. I'm not going. I mean, you know, I pray it's not terrible, but I mean, people gonna stand up, man.
I think it would have been worse if it was 5 white cops, though.
It would have been worse.
It would have been to another level.
But it's still gonna be bad, though.
You think so?
I mean, I pray.
Well, I'm saying one will speak on anything.
I think to the point that Reg is making, I think it's gonna be worse from the sense of like, because we've talked about this but I hate the argument. Is like, oh well, how can you say something about us doing it? Y'all don't say nothing when y'all do it. To quote the great Finesse, it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. But like, and people don't understand. Like, no, every dude sitting here is against black on black crime. Like, we're civilians.
Yeah, you
know what I'm saying. Like, I don't want you. If you're a rapist, I don't want you in my neighborhood with my kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm married, I don't want you around my wife and you're a rapist. I don't care that you black. Like, you got to go. Right? I'm not advocating for that. Now, granted, either the system is going to get you and lock you up, or somebody who stay on the street is going to take you out. Yeah. But we're not for certain things in our own community. But we know we can't go to an Asian community or a white community or a Jewish community. We can't go commit a bunch of crimes and they stuff because it's going to be over with for us. Point blank, period. But we don't like how when y'all do crimes in y'all community, y'all don't highlight it like when it's like, and it's Asians who kill Asians. Like, it is statistically proven that most crimes that happen in communities happen within that community.
That's correct.
If you look at the number of white people killed every year, they're killed by other white people.
That's right.
Predominantly.
That's right.
Asians, predominantly by Asians. Like, and we can go down the line. So yes, we do that to each other, but we don't applaud that.
I'm concerned about the police, JB.
Okay, that's
you see what I'm saying.
That's what I'm about to ask you.
I'm concerned about the police more than anything.
The safety
of these police. Because just imagine you being a cop and you going to the store by yourself now, right? You know what I'm saying? You going in to get your normal coffee. I hate to be cliche with the donuts or whatever it is.
Right.
It may not be safe for the cops to be by themselves now. You see what I'm saying? Because you already seen what it's like.
I think it empowers now, because it is still racist cops. Yeah. But now when you see like, oh, okay, well, they're doing it. So now,
man, again,
and we not gonna take our body cams off. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the thing? Oh, he's resisting. He's resisting. Oh, is he reaching for something?
Yeah.
And when they do that, when they're saying that, because again, you can't see every single thing. So when they holler out he's resisting or is he reaching, then now that justifies when they pull their guns or they tase or they beat. Because as you're watching, all I can see is JB's hat. And when they holler out he reaching, well, JB hat is moving. He must have been reaching for something.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that kind of empowers them to do the stuff that they already want to do anyway.
So that's my prayer right now for those families of those police officers, because they also, you know what I'm saying, even though they were involved in murdering their boy, they families, them folk pictures on the screen, doc. Yeah. One of them look familiar. I don't know where I know them from, but one of them look familiar. But what I'm saying is, these Memphis folk, somebody went to high school with such and such. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm concerned about the safety of their families. I'm serious, man. It's serious.
Yeah, I can tell you, like, we kind of talked about some of the stuff off camera, but I can tell you, like, to your point.
So the prayers need to go for the deceased family, also for the family of those 5 cops.
I think the city's still in shock. Like, even for it being 5 black men.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't even know how we know how to process that and what that's gonna look like, because it's like, to me, I'm still just like.
Do y'all think that's
really?
the first time this happened?
No, of course not. Not, maybe to this degree.
But it's so close now, Reg. It's so close, man.
To this degree.
It's been a while, I think, since we've had a death like this. You know, I can't remember one. I'm not saying it hadn't happened. I can't remember one like this been in the city, though.
I can't imagine it now, but things change when video comes out. Because we saw with the Draymond Green thing, everybody heard the whispers like, "Oh, he hit Jordan Poole in the practice." Like, "Oh, okay." Then we saw the video.
But with that being said, though, and we talked about this before,
everything changed.
And it was Gilbert Arenas who said it, but it was like, in order for that video to leak out, somebody had, and what's going on with Draymond, he's got a contract coming up.
Right.
So now this video leaks of him doing some BS.
Right. To justify why not
right.
give
So
him
now gonna give you as much
you
money.
gotta take, either you're gonna stay with us and keep winning and you're gonna take what we give you, or you're gonna try yourself on the open market, but you're not as attractive because you got this black eye with what you did. And so I'm saying it just seemed kind of suspect to me, because like I said, I don't believe it's the first time that's gone on. And I'm not saying that they were right, and I'm not saying, but I'm just saying,
is it smart to release the video?
Amazing to me that, like, because again, and we talked about this when Fro was on. I know of 2 people. One of them went to breath with us, right? Of course, there wasn't no video back then. I know of 2 folks that got killed by the police. Them niggas still had their job. Mm-hmm. It's amazing though. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? This happens like, oh man, instantly. We got this video, we got this, and it just so happens to be, and I'm not saying that they're right, I'm not saying they should get a pass. If it's jail time and that's what it calls for, they should get that. You know, if they're guilty of it, if the facts line up, whatever the consequence is, they should get that. But like, man, it just is amazing to me. But I know, like, I've shared this for me, as many police cars as I've been in the back of, I know it's some white police officers that shouldn't have their job.
Mm-hmm. And then they got fired, bro. They got fired immediately.
And it's been announced. It's not even going to be official till tomorrow. And today is Sunday for y'all.
Do y'all believe that it would be smart to release that video?
You don't have any choice. It's got to be.
They're going to have. I mean, they're going to be talking to it. They're going to have to.
It's because it's going to come out. It's got to be released. I mean,
to the public though.
Yeah.
Why it got to be released to the public?
These are public servants. We pay these people. You know what I'm saying? So indirectly, they work for us.
That just perpetuates the trauma, though.
But
it does.
That's my point. To where, okay, it's public record. I think the law states that it should be for public consumption if it's out there. But is that good for the city as far as with the tension? Because right now it's already bad. But you put a visual to it. That's when I think it can uptick and go somewhere it don't need to go.
I mean, it's just like with the guy who got with his knee on the guy's neck. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't real until you sat there and you counted those seconds.
Yep.
And you watched the life come out of that guy. It got real then for black, white, across the world. Everybody was talking about that.
Right.
And so, I mean, it's necessary. When you go to, I went to Johannesburg. And, you know, with the apartheid and everything that was going on, that whole stuff.
I mean, you gotta stop going out the country, but keep going.
Was it a slow flex? But anyway, so anyway, the point, but listen.
I thought you were about to say Johannesburg, Tennessee.
No. But what
Johannesburg, Africa.
What they made them do, man, and in the museum, what they made them do, they made all those people who were involved in all the oppressors, right? They made them stand trial. It was a beautiful sight to see. They made them stand trial, and they expressed, you know what, I apologize for all these things that I did. And even though they didn't get jail time, of course, but they
had to acknowledge.
They had to acknowledge it. And see, the problem with what we do here with slavery, they have not acknowledged the fact that they got a 300-year head start financially. And that we never got the 40 acres in the movie. They acknowledge, you know what I'm saying, what they missed. And I think that would help in going a long way here if we would do something like that here.
I know this is way off subject, but do you think we should get reparations?
Who's that?
Well, we go to you first.
How much time we got? You better believe it.
Okay.
You better believe it. You better believe it, because just think about all that free labor for 300 years. Mm-hmm. How do you repay my great grandfather? How do you repay your great grandfather?
Well, that's my question. So
how do you do it?
Should we get money or have assets or get assets?
Or
should it be a combination?
All of it.
Okay.
What did the 40 acres and a mule represent? 40 acres.
Land,
an
property,
asset. Right. That's an asset.
Something you own.
And so the mule represented me something that I can use.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Right.
To make
but it's just like if you were to start a business, because you're a business owner, you know this. Your capital is stuff that you use to make your business flourish.
Yep. Correct.
Right. So you giving me this thing, but you're also giving me something else to make this thing make money. Right. So I can't do nothing with the land, but if you give me this mule I can plow.
There you go.
It helps me plant. So now you're giving me something to sustain this business. So it's just like you starting a restaurant, but you ain't got no ovens, right? So the 40 acres is the restaurant. Mule is the oven. The oven is going to allow you to cook so that this restaurant can flourish. You see what I'm saying? So they're giving you the thing, but they're also giving you something to help that thing run so you can continue to make money off of this thing.
So the reparations would need to be structured, though. Mm-hmm. It would need to be a blank check, because we've seen what that.
I know. We need a blank check. I feel like
that's what a lot of people think. That I've heard.
We should be tax exempt. At least for a period of time. At least for a period of time. Maybe not forever. I would even say if you gave us half of the time that the slave. So for the next 150 years, so that means you, your children, your grandchildren, your great grandchildren are all going to be tax exempt.
That's strong, bro.
You see what I'm saying?
That's strong.
So that gives you ain't got to give us the full 300 and change.
Strong,
give us half of it.
If they just tax did exempt. That alone.
Also, for however many times you want to go to college to further your education to get a degree, you should be able to go for free.
I like that.
And then it should be a certain amount of money. So now I ain't got to pay no taxes. How much you had to pay for all the master's degrees you got? Man. Like I'm still
we got to cut the camera off.
I ain't getting no master's. I'm still paying off a psychology major that I didn't finish, right? My English major, my history major, theology. I'm still paying for all this stuff. Yeah. When you look at my credit score, that's the only thing still on there is all them student loans, right? But imagine if I could have gone in with impunity and done that, right? Yeah. I could have finished. Yeah. Now, when I say stuff, it's not just a crazy nigga talking. It's like, oh, because you got this paperwork, you must be. No, I started. I couldn't afford to finish. Yeah. I still got the books.
And it's actually feasible. Yeah. When you look at the percentage, because a lot of times we forget, man, we only like 13%. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? The country, like, we don't really make up, even though we all over the place. You turn TV on, we all over. We only like 13, maybe 14%.
How about, you can't say this because we don't want to be canceled, but how about, because we talked about this, right? Mm-hmm. The Jews make up less percentage than us, but they control 35% of the wealth.
Right.
But they're less than we are, supposedly. But they own, what is that, almost, that's over a third? Because a third would be 33%.
You better get this thing cut off,
right.
bro.
I'm just saying, they own over a third of the wealth.
Cut off, bro.
To this point, my thing is, we talked about that with reacting to the comments, talking about the ADF. Mm-hmm. Now, to me, we have to think, as you were saying, you think 5 years ahead or 10 years ahead. Mm. The people in the higher ups, what we're talking about, they already there. Mm-hmm. Okay? And so it's like, I just think we need to be aware of that, because I think it's going to come, but like you said, it has to be structured, because they'll give something, but it's going to be nowhere near to what we need or what we're quote unquote, they'll give you this or give you that or just a little bit, just a gesture to satisfy you. Mm-hmm. Just like integration was a gesture, in my view. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because, we can give them this, because then we'll integrate our money with theirs and just make a bigger pot. Well, we didn't know that we should have stayed segregated and kept our own stuff and kept our own community, but we looked at integrate. They conditioned our mind to think that integration.
like we did something good because now we can sit with the white guys.
What's the thing? You know what I mean? And so they already steps ahead of it now. So whatever that they do give us, we got to make sure we hold their feet to the fire that is going to be to what we actually need. Because they already got in their mind now what they're going to give us. But it's going to be nowhere near to what, you know what I'm saying, that we're owed and what we need to get. To them, they may just want to give us a blank check. You know what I'm saying? All right, hey, okay, we'll give each family $20,000 or whatever. You know what I mean? And be like, oh, okay, be us.
Right.
Oh, it's better. It's better than nothing.
Pick the number because what they'll do is
it's better than nothing.
And he was talking about, again, y'all need to check this video out. But he was talking about the economy, right? Yeah. And the way the economy took a hit. So all they'll do is okay, we'll give y'all a check for so much money, but then inflation, everything goes up.
Be like, here.
So now you gave me $300,000, but now that $300,000 looking more like $30,000.
Eggs done went up to $12.
Exactly, eggs are $7 now.
Gas done went up to
gas done go up to because we're and actually in Memphis we're like $3.
Yeah.
I know people in California they're paying $6.
Yeah.
We're good paying $3, but imagine if we was paying $6 here.
Mm-hmm. I'm with the reparations and everything else. I'm just saying to what we're talking about, our boy RZA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he would go down the line.
They are always.
I would love to get Dr. Harris and
that would be
RZA
great, wouldn't it? That would be
because they kind of favor each other. They look like they could be cousins.
Don't do that.
Hey! You need to look him up, Reggie.
RZA.
Look him up.
Okay.
Look him up. He's a good brother. He's in the Nation of Islam.
Right. And we've shouted him out on here before.
Right. But he gives good information. And honestly, we about to end this soon. Great information to what we wouldn't get inside the church, or that the church is not willing to put that type of information out there because of whatever agenda, backlash, whatever you may get. And I just want to go back to the cookie pack for a minute. You know what I'm saying? To that information was given to the church before it gave anybody else, but they shunned it away.
Yeah, this is him. He's like you without a beard. Imagine him with a beard. You see that?
I guess.
He's like, okay, we could be related.
So, and that's another piece of it to where we can get so, political in something that we're not willing to stick out your neck. Like, for me, I'm just talking about my own personal Bible time. I'm reading through the book of Acts right now. Mm-hmm. And so when I'm reading through the book of Acts, I'm looking like, I'm thinking like in the back of my head, how can we get back to this type of impact, this type of stuff going? Yep. And if you look at stuff what Paul and stuff was doing, it was all unpopular. They got jailed, they got, beat, stoned and stuff of that nature. And so to me, when I look at stuff of this nature, I'm passionate. Well, I'm more passionate about it. I told you about that. My dad, what I'm saying? I didn't start looking at the medical stuff until my dad got sick. And I saw how the medical people treated him and how, it opened my eyes a lot. Then the pandemic came. And then so I was like almost prepped. It was like, it made me second guess a couple things. You know what I'm saying? It had me look at stuff critically and not just be like, okay, most people are like, oh, why would the government try to tell me something wrong? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
They said that the Tuskegee experiments was fake. And they said they didn't know about 9/11. And they said that, hey, we don't know anything about Iran-Contra. And what about the Kennedy assassination? We didn't have anything to do with that. But then years later, oh, wait, they did know about all of that stuff. Because they make movies about it all the time as if to slap us in the face.
It's about the Capitol, bro. It's about the Capitol. So,
look, let's go through these quickies real quick. You know what? You got to hit them with the good. You see, I got my Rick Rude jacket on. I'm simply ravishing.
Oh, I didn't even see
so
that.
So we're going to hit them with the quickies.
With the Ricky Rude.
We're going to hit them with the, hey, when you got to go to work and she trying to, keep you from going out the door real quick and you got to go and hit it with the 2 pumps in the swivel so you can go.
Well, that's my life now. I got 4 kids, 7 and under. So Quickies got to be the thing. Quickies got to be the thing here.
So what we got?
This first one, I didn't even put on here, but vibranium, I think, may have been found in Africa.
What?
Now,
you watch too many Marvel movies.
You are laughing.
What do you say, Captain? On your left.
I'm going to put something down there. I'm going to put a video. It was electronically charged rocks found in Africa and Congo the other day. Okay? Now, You got to see the video. I didn't believe it either, but it's a real thing. So my question to both of y'all: do you think vibranium can be real? Just yes or no.
That's a negative. I will show you this picture.
Negative on that one.
Okay.
These are some pictures of some slave shoes. I'm gonna say what you think that look like. How about that? That ain't even on the Quickie list, and that's not gonna be up here. That was just for JB.
No, I ain't even gonna say nothing about that.
What shoes these look like? Them some slave shoes. Yeah, but what shoes them look like?
Don't even say it.
It's somebody who think
it's
somebody who made out an album.
Don't say
talk about.
Stop it.
I want to see my kids.
Stop it.
I don't know where the birthday party gonna be at.
Another Quickie. Ed Reed gets hired and fired in the same month. From Bethune-Cookman University.
Ed Reed, he used to play for
They fired him?
Yeah.
The same month, 25 days, I think it was. Was it a press conference or an interview or something he did?
Instagram
but he was basically like,
Live.
Prime wasn't lying.
Yep.
These HBCUs don't do nothing. I'm here to help. Because they don't be doing nothing.
Now, on one hand, he is telling the truth.
Yeah.
But this is when keeping it real goes wrong. I went to a HBCU, so you know what I mean? Like the football program was king, and everybody else got the residue from that. I was on the tennis team, so everybody else travel budget and stuff was trash. You know what I mean? So it is a underlining longer issue with this, which Ed Reed was right in that. But in how he said and how he articulated is when keeping it real went wrong. So
Ed Reed wins the Paul Pierce Award.
He did. He does. He wins
the pleasure P.
Pleasure P.
So like the first season,
y'all have a donkey wall
right now. So the first season we had awards.
We had award. Yeah,
we had the Paul Pierce. We call it the Pleasure P.
Pleasure P Award.
When keeping it real goes wrong.
The Kirk Franklin.
We had the Kirk Franklin Son Award.
Keon Franklin.
Yeah, it was, but I forget what it was called. But it was something like you acting like a female dog in heat.
Yeah.
But that award, our good old Pinky's Driver Award, or whatever nigga award. You remember when Pinky was like, you hitting the corners of Sharpe, he was like, whatever, mother, we get it. Right, he hit the yak.
Yeah. Then we had the KD.
We had some award, right? We had the KD Award.
Because he unbrushed his hair.
Right, no, because his hairline looks like a glow. Never mind, let me stop.
That's anyway.
Shout out to KD. But we got to bring our awards back. But that's some crap, man.
Yeah, but
he's made zero impact.
Zero impact.
You know what I'm saying? You got to get in there first. There's no relationship, right? No. So you're talking as though you're a spectator. You didn't go to the school. You didn't go to HBCU.
You went to the U.
Yeah. Like I said, he spit a lot of facts in there, but
Black people, we got to do better. If you went to an HBCU, you're a lawyer, you're a judge, you're a business owner.
Cut the check.
As my guy said, you're a business owner and not just self-employed. Man, y'all got to give back, man, and y'all got these degrees and you say, I'm a historically black college or university, but you're not giving back, and you got the funds to do so.
I should give more personally, but I get it.
Are you a millionaire, JB?
No, not yet.
Okay, so we're not talking to you.
But still, though.
And I'm not saying, but I'm saying,
percentages.
But what I'm saying is, and you said you got to give more,
right,
which means you are giving, right? What your percentage is if you're not a millionaire and I'm a millionaire, I shouldn't be giving your percentage, or rather, I shouldn't be giving your amount. Right?
Right.
Because if you're only making, let's say you're making $500,000, right? And you're giving 10%, that's what, $5,000, right?
Right.
But let's say I'm making $5 million. Guess what my 10% would be?
Right.
$500,000, right?
Yeah.
So even if I was given the same percentage because I'm a millionaire or multimillionaire, it should be more, and that's all I'm saying. It shouldn't be, JB gave 5, I'm going to give 5. No, you making so many millions of dollars a year, give the same percentage that JB giving. So if JB's giving $5,000 a year and I'm giving the same percent, and my same percent would be $500,000 a year, that could pay for certain facilities or assistant coaches, right? And that's all I'm saying. We got to do better, man.
For sure. You got a couple of those rundowns you had, right?
Oh, okay. So I know y'all don't know about this. We talking about.
Y'all
gotta watch. I don't be watching it, right? I post, and people tell me the only thing I post on Instagram is my podcast. No.
Love and Hip Hop?
No, hell no. I only post the podcast.
Uh-huh.
I don't post no children. I don't post I just recently put up some flashback stuff, and you was in one of them. I put up some throwbacks.
Okay.
Yeah, I put up some throwbacks. Right? But other than that, I post a podcast or when I'm in the studio recording. But every time I go on Instagram, I see Krishan Rock and Blueface. Krishan Rock and Blueface are a real life equivalent of the Joker and Harley Quinn. Like, she hit this nigga upside the head with Hennessy bottles. He done punched her daddy in the face. Right? Her sisters try to fight him. And he's a rapper. And she supposedly is in love with him. But, like, they're the most toxic thing on the planet. And she just recently revealed, I guess, because he revealed that they broke up. And now, as soon as they break up, she's pregnant, supposedly.
Sound like some more residue from slavery.
I mean,
like
but
at the end of the day,
it's the residue.
Do you
take it right back to slavery?
If it was a dude
go right back to it,
right back to slavery.
beating a woman, that would be okay? Because, like, a lot of women love Krishan Rock.
Either way is not okay. I don't know any of these people.
I don't think either way is either.
Okay. Yeah.
But they're giving her a pass because... Oh, that's my other phone. They're giving her a pass because... YouTube. No, YouTube. That's how I get through work. YouTube. Podcast. That's how I stay up on these topics.
Go ahead.
But they're giving her a pass because she's a woman, right? So she can hit him upside the head with Hennessy bottles. But if that was you hitting your wife, JB's a monster.
Yeah, we know it's a double standard.
But it's out of order either way. It's out of order.
It's a
either
double
way.
standard.
Yeah.
It's a double
I don't want nobody to die. Either one of them.
Yeah.
And I don't listen to Blueface music. Right?
I tried one time.
But evidently he's talented because people listen to him. But I'm just saying.
No, I'm good.
I mean, like I said, it may not be your cup of tea, but you got, like what we was talking about with how Vic was saying.
He doing his thing.
Crown Vic was saying Romeo. Like, you got to have some level of talent to stay up there.
Yeah.
He's doing his thing. Right? I just don't want nobody to die because, or to go to jail because, we're crazy and look like that's not. We got daughters.
Yeah, and
I don't want my daughter to be crazy.
It's the picture because Lord knows. I mean, I don't know the situation, but the kid's watching. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to normalize that foolishness or ratchetness or whatever you want to call it. And
this next one here, I don't know if you heard. Stephen A. Slick, this is Rihanna.
Oh
on his book tour. Mm-hmm. He was trying to correlate his love for Beyonce, but he ended up comparing Rihanna and Beyonce, basically saying Rihanna is not anything compared to Beyonce, which he didn't even have to shepherd whatever show was on.
Like almost a billionaire.
You talking about the money or the looks? What was he?
No, he was talking about as an artist, as a performer. That
her body of work. Her body of work is. I mean, come on, it's not even.
Comparison. I mean, but ain't Rihanna almost a billionaire?
She's a billionaire.
Yeah, so
Rihanna is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yes. Beyonce's not. So
Rihanna got like perfumes, makeup,
the Fenty
line.
thing, and all of that. Like
she's a billionaire for sure.
So if we're talking strictly the music level, maybe not. But if you saw both of them walking down the street, I think it depends on what you like.
Yeah, as far as preference.
You see what I'm saying? Like I'm not, because I can't honestly say that Beyonce looks better, or I can't honestly say that Rihanna looks better. I just think it's what you like. You know who sits on my throne that can't do no wrong.
This goes back to
y'all know that Megan Good sits right up there.
Hold on, who you say again?
Megan Good.
Yeah, she's single.
And since she's single again, y'all can't tell me nothing.
She is single again.
Man, Megan Good. Let me stop. But anybody that I get with knows that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And if I'm in Vegas and Megan Good's in Vegas, I don't know what to tell you. Father, forgive me.
You got another rundown?
The Usain Bolt thing.
Okay. Now, he said he lost 12 million.
Yeah, no, that is like, so supposedly, man, y'all make sure, as Marshawn Lynch would say, y'all watch y'all chicken.
Watch your chicken, yeah.
Because they're saying that he had $12 million that was stolen out of his account.
Bruh.
And he wants to sue.
So let me throw one thing out there. If you got 12 million in one account, you're retarded. That's number one.
Well, like I said, I don't know if it. I just know that they said
you got to spread the money out because you can't secure 12 million in one account.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I mean, I'm assuming he had the money in the U.S. because over there'd be no way I would do that because they're gonna hit him regardless because the laws don't work the same.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
They're gonna get him anyway.
12 in an account, but
that'd be stupid. You got to spread that stuff out.
And I do want to give a shout. Harvest Church in Germantown. I think it was a flight, right? It was a flight.
Yep.
And I think it crashed in Texas. And I think the executive pastor and I think 3 other members that were on that plane crashed. And 3 of them died. I think the lead pastor, I think he's the only one to survive. And last I heard, he was in stable condition. Okay. And so yeah, prayers
out to that family.
Prayers out to the family.
Yeah, prayers out to that family, man. And it was they just hate to hear anything like that. Honestly, I thought the church was in Texas. Yeah. I didn't know they were here in Germantown.
So Winchester.
Yeah, so hate to hear anything of that nature, man. It's just, time to be about the business. You know what I mean?
And shout out to my guy. You know my guy Stefan. So we actually talked about the episode where we had shout out to our girl Ebony Hines, who was here. We were talking about the best man. Right. He was like, Ro, he said, I love you. He said, I rock with you. He said, but man, I got to side with JB and Ebony. He said, I think that Robin was a villain. And I stood on what I said, though. She was wrong for what she did. But I just think that, Tay Diggs' character could have been more about his marriage and his relationship. But he did say that, he felt where y'all was coming from on that.
For sure.
Y'all had the right one. If y'all had Ebony on for that,
oh man, she did good.
Right one.
She did good.
She did all right. She did all right.
Let me
we need to get you on here to talk about. We need you to break down the characters of that episode.
That's Ebony. No, let Ebony do that.
Hey, Reg, my boy, I appreciate you coming through. Man. You know what I'm saying? It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
And we got plenty more to.
We sorry, Javon, for keeping him so long. Thank you for letting us borrow your husband.
Love you, cuz. We appreciate you. Y'all, until next time, continue with that executive mindset.
And most definitely keep it presidential.
Salute.
Arrivederci. Bow.